if you are a parent who is creating a supportive and empowering environment for your children, and if that is important to you, you will want to listen to today's live conversation with Carli, who used to be a Montessori educator, and she is supporting parents to help their children flourish with confidence and instilling a strong sense of self. And I love that we are doing this work to create a new paradigm, to create a world where our children and the future generations gets to grow up in an empowering world, gets to grow up doing what they love to do, right? And learning the skills, the knowledge that we probably didn't, we hope that we did get to learn when we were growing up, and now we are building together. We having more awareness. We are creating this environment. We have the opportunity to create this environment for our children, and that is exactly why I'm doing the work I do. Yeah, and if you know me, or if you're new to my work, I have been trying for my own children. I want my own children, and through the work I'm doing here, I wish to create an environment where empowering world for our children. And I believe with each client, with each person we touch, using our content, we are creating a more empowering world for them. Hi, Carly. Glad to have you
Hello.
here.
How are you going? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry that took a while. The button didn't
Right.
come up and it was a bit technically funny. But we're here
Oh, but yeah, exactly. We get it to work.
now. How are you
Yeah, so
going?
I'm good. Like, what time is it at your side? Where are you located? Share more. Like, what's
I'm
going
in
on?
Sydney. I mean, I'm not in Sydney. I'm in New South Wales. I'm in regional New South Wales, Byron Bay, and it is just 10 minutes after 4.
Oh, okay.
What
It's
about you?
it's it's two yeah, 2 p.m. right now, so it's like 2 hours behind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
bad.
love that. Yeah, not bad. Our time is still match. Yeah, so introduce yourself a bit, the work you do, and yeah.
So my name is Carly. I am an energy healer using Psyche-K and a parent consultant. I work a lot with mothers, children of all ages, and just various ways I do it, but it's clearing subconscious obstacles in the way of, creating anxiety, limiting beliefs, low self-esteem, lack of confidence. So that in the way of living your best life and being your best self.
Yeah, I love that. And I believe that, like through each client that, you are working with, you are creating this ripple effect of change, right? Because the parents will impact their children and so on through the future generations. And I love that you are doing this work. But, like tell us more about like why, like what led you to doing this work? Because I believe you were a Montessori educator.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like what you said. It's like, yeah, I'm doing this work with parents, and then that has that knock-on effect with the children and actually the whole family. And I I see a lot of, moms, and then they refer me to their children and their partners, and then their brothers, and then their brothers' partners. So I do have this knock-on effect with working with the whole family. And in the classroom, I was a Montessori teacher. I did education and psychology when I first started, my adult journey and what legacy, what purpose I wanted to do in the world. And I did psychology, and I thought psychology doesn't do it for me. Mainstream talking, I didn't really feel so connected to it. And then education as well. I went and looked at schools and I observed the system, and being very sensitive to children and how they were feeling, I could really see that the school system wasn't the right place for me, or in my beliefs, children, because they have this, you know, curious mind. And not that teachers aren't the most caring, beautiful, incredible people, but the system wasn't created following human development. And therefore, a lot of the practices, the way children are treated, it's actually doing the opposite to supporting their full development. So that led me into doing Montessori, and I am obsessed with her and all her beliefs and all her study and her research. But still, I was in a Montessori classroom and I saw all these children with so many learning difficulties, anxiety, low self-esteem, and the way I wanted to support them, it wasn't enough in the classroom. And that led me to find Psyche-K, and that was, yeah, it felt like the missing piece. The originator, Rob Williams, he wrote a book called The Missing Piece called Psyche-K, and it does feel that way, because when you actually work with the family, the anxiety that you connect to, you connect in with, which is the subconscious, and you really get to those root causes, you can make this unbelievable change, and it's very quick and it's very effective. And yeah, it's where I'm meant to be, and it's what I'm meant to be doing. So it's how I just really feel I can support families and the children, more importantly, in the deepest way.
Yeah, I love that. And while you were sharing about like what you see and observe in the schools, it made me reflect back on my own like education. Like, like I believe it's still about the same right now in the education system all over the world. It's like most of them are like one size, trying to do that one size fits all, but it is not true, right? All of us are unique individuals. All of us have like what you said, like unique subconscious pattern, the conditioning that we have taken on from different culture, different background, different family, and even probably inherited from our parents as well, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, it makes sense to have customized, personalized support and to support our children's development. And if I remember correctly, there's like three main stages in a children's growth and development. Is that right?
So all different, you know, human development tests will have different things that they'll say and like different ways, but they're all gonna be pretty similar or have lots of like overlaps because they're observing humans. And they have, the Montessori, she says the 0 to 6, which is, the baby toddler, and then 6 to 12 is primary aged, then 12 to 18 is adolescence, and then she also says adolescent, like 18, after adolescence 18 to about 24 is the maturing of the adult. And she did a lot of her study long before we knew about the brain, but actually a mature adult brain only develops, around 24 years old. So she could even observe that already. So that's what she says. Some, there's Piaget, there's a couple of other people, they say a bit of similar but different things.
Yeah, it makes sense. The first time I learned about these three stages was actually through my Gene Keys when I was studying Gene Keys, my work. And it really blew my mind because like when I look back at, the conditionings that I have taken on, like what mold me to be the person I have today, what I experience, our outlook is created by what we have experienced and those subconscious, those patterns and conditionings that we are unaware, and it totally blew my mind. Like how much layers and layers are piled upon our, I don't know what's the right term, consciousness that
Totally, yeah.
affects, yeah, that affects our outlook on life. Yeah,
Well, it is, and like
especially.
the gene keys, it's all about understanding and knowing your energy. And it's very hard in a school system to really respect and understand the energy of all children if you're kind of doing the same thing with every child all the time. But
Mhm.
yeah, so it is. It's like with the gene keys, you start to understand your energy and how to work with it. It's like we should be already doing this as a parent or already doing it with children so that they know, okay, they might need to rest a little bit more. Okay, I don't know too much about gene keys. I know more about human designs, but like, I'm a generator and I generate and
Mhm.
I always have energy. which is different to my partner, who needs a lot more rest and chill time. And it's very important for me to know that, because I need to respect him and allow him to be that, instead of trying to have him keep up with me.
Yeah, and that, like such tools and modalities and systems really show us that how different we are as individuals. Like even through human design, it also show us like how different our learning styles are, and it really like, you know, one size fits all really doesn't work for us.
Totally.
Like yeah, so elaborate a bit more, like how and why is it important that, parents are need to be aware of the work that you are doing and how your work really support the environment they're creating for their children, for themselves, their lives in general.
Awesome. And I just want to say hi to Alchemy Healing.
Hi,
She's
Nay.
another generator. What are you?
I'm a generator too.
Obviously, we're a group of generators. So there's kind of two parts that I do with my work. The one, which is the very important part, is the subconscious Psyche-K energy healing work. And the other is sharing my knowledge on human development following Montessori philosophy. And for example, someone will come to me and they'll say, I've got a teenager or a tween, they're 11, they're about to be 12, and they're starting to play with dolls and they have a bit of a tantrum. And to me, I know that straight away, that is just a natural part of coming into adolescence. You regress, it's not really known. So I share that knowledge so that instead of people going, oh my God, what's wrong with my child? Or, oh my God, what's happening? They start to really have a clearer understanding of the child's developmental nature as well as their unique self. And then the Psyche-K, we take on all these beliefs around the world. It could have been from our parents, relationship with money, relationship with people, relationship with academics, but a lot of the time they don't serve us. And if we are in a situation where we are trying to be someone we're not, we're going to get anxious, we're going to feel low self-esteem, lack of confidence. And by shifting our limiting beliefs or our beliefs around a situation, it allows us to be more calm, be more confident, and actually therefore change our life to either pivot into something that's going to better suit us or handle the situation that we are in already. Because if we shift our perceptions around a situation, we're automatically going to have a better time.
Mm, yeah, definitely. Like just shifting, like understanding is like the awareness piece, right? And then with the awareness piece, now we can choose to change our perspective and how we experience life. And I have like heard from like I was like watching so many parents on their IG, like some, like the like more so-called awakened, more conscious of all these patternings, conditionings. They are trying to create a more empowering environment for their children. But I also see the other side. So many parents are in that, I don't know what's the correct word to use, but really
Anxious,
like,
they're
um,
triggered, they're
yeah.
worried about their child and they're projecting onto their
Mm.
child. They're feeling very guilty. They don't know how to put up safe boundaries or how to have, limits and responsibilities or a good balance. I jumped in there, but I've seen it all.
Yeah, exactly what you say about that projection part. Sometimes like our insecurities is like it's easier to project onto another person and not take responsibility for it. But once we take responsibility for it and change it within, it starts to like really like I like to say affect, like
Mm,
influence the people around us, and that they get to grow with us and they get to see the changes within us and then get on board with the change that we are making. And I think it's really powerful, especially when you say like you tend to work with the whole family,
yeah.
right? Mm. And for those newer to Psyche, what would you like, share a summary of what type of energy healing modality it is?
Sure. So when you have that anxiety or lack of confidence or anger, any of those strong emotions, they're connected to the amygdala, the part of our brain that goes into a big fight flight response. And that means the brain isn't really talking to each other. It's the amygdala is going off, and that's really important. It's part of our safety, because if there was a fire or if there was any issues and we needed to just react instead of, and respond quickly, we shouldn't be thinking, oh, is this safe? Should I take my phone? Where's a snack? You just got to go. So we connect to your subconscious, the part of that brain that is the instantaneous fight-flight response. And I connect to it through muscle testing. So if I have someone with me, I do kinesiology on their arm, or if I'm doing it over Zoom, I do the muscle testing on their behalf. And that's the energy psychology. So I'm picking up on I'm in their frequency, and I there is science a bit around it and how this changes the brain, and it changes genes and how what they perceive and then how they act. But I can't relate. It feels to me like magic. But then if you are having a weak response to something, we do what's called a whole brain integration activity. And that's when we start getting all the parts of the brain talking, and we tell the body and we tell the brain that this is safe. And this situation linked with the anxiety, or this situation linked with the low confidence, has nothing to do with the person, and it's telling the brain and rewiring it that it's safe. And that leads into a whole lot of change, because once you can't read, if you're a child and you can't read, and once you move out of the anxiety or low confidence around it, and you don't have any emotions around it, you're going to be a little bit more resilient to read, even if it's a slow process.
Mm. I love the part where you say you become more resilient after you take away that anxiety piece. Yeah, and they get to learn at their own pace, right?
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
And I can even, from my experiences, I've had situations where I am feeling really anxious about something. Like when I was in the school system, I was feeling very anxious about it because I had all these children. I couldn't really fulfill their needs. My class had a lot of high needs, special needs, and I didn't feel like I was in my integrity. So I was waking up with anxiety all the time. And I did Psyche-K. This is when I first came to Psyche-K, and it was like this magic. And I realized that the subconscious belief around the anxiety was my own fear that if I leave this job, I won't get another job, and I will be in like a financial problem. And the thing is, this was just my own subconscious beliefs around money and finances. I had lots of savings. I was around the corner from my family. And being a Montessori teacher, you have the opportunity to work wherever you want. Being a teacher, it's very easy to get work. It's not like I wouldn't ever find a job. I was very good at what I did. So it was all subconscious, but it was creating, really big anxiety in my daily life. And only when I was able to shift out of that fear and realize what was beneath the surface, within 3 days, I resigned from the job, and it led me on a journey to where I am now, which is a whole other story. But yeah, it's when we have that anxiety or we have that fear, it's an obstacle allowing us to be our true self and be doing the things we want to be doing and being in our integrity and following our purpose.
Yeah, I love that. And I just one of the things you mentioned earlier, I just stick to me. You talk about like how we can actually change and affect our genes. And like for those of you watching replay or live, if you don't know, there's a new study in epigenetics that say that what we inherited from our parents, the genes, the coding that we are born with, they can be reprogrammed. They can change based on the environment that we put ourselves in, and based on what Carly has shared with us through Psyche energy healing. It can, correct me if I'm not wrong, you are able to influence the genes to sort of turn on and off the switch to influence the conditioning and patternings within us. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah, you got it. Knock on. Yeah, it is like because your perception your perception about a situation shifts and puts that gene on and off. And if you're feeling a bit anxious about something, that there's something that's going to happen in an hour, you can start getting anxious, and then the genes of fear or worry start coming on, and those can be worse than the actual experience. So
Yeah.
and they've done that in multiple studies, like the anticipation to something can give you the same emotion and feeling than the actual thing. If that's waiting to eat a cookie, or if that's waiting.
Yeah, sorry, got cut off a bit. What's the last part that you were saying?
I was just saying that, yeah, it's like your perceptions around the situation, they still switch on the genes, and then you still have the same response that you would have when you actually do the thing.
Mm.
So if you think that you're about to jump off a cliff and imagine that, you can feel the same fear of jumping off a cliff. So yeah, our perceptions, even if it's not even happening in our reality, can create the same emotions and feelings.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like it's like I feel like it's that part about our imagination can be our greatest friend or foe based on what we are focusing
All
on, right? Based on
mindset,
what you shared.
all mindset, right?
Yeah. And oh, like what tips or what's the greatest tip? One tip that you would share with parents who want to build this environment to nourish their children, build the confidence and what you share about sense of self within their children. What's that one tip or however many tips you want to share?
Okay, I've got a couple. So the one would be observe, 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 observe. Lots of people come to me saying, I've got an issue, blah, blah, blah. But when we learn to just objectively observe without judgment, normally the answer is right in front of you. So, with the child, you can see, what toys should they have? Observe. They'll tell you what they like. If there's an issue, if you just kind of observe, you might see the patterns. When is it happening? Why is it triggered? So observe. Being an objective observer is such an important role in my life with clients, as a yoga teacher, as a yoga instructor, in my own practice, in meditation and yoga. And it's something I took on from the Montessori training, hours of observation. The other thing is, if there's an issue in your family, instead of trying to turn into everyone else, first do the work on yourself. Because as we spoke about before, there's a lot of those projections that come up. And if you had monies with issues, you might be projecting it onto your child if they tell you something about not getting work or learning issues. You might have had negative experiences at school, and then you might be projecting it onto your child if they have some issue come up. But once you clear them, you can actually deal with the issue so much better and so much more calmly and regulated, and that's going to support them. And then the other thing is, don't ignore the mental emotional. So I had someone who told me that they had seen anxiety in their child since they were in year 3, and they were coming to me with a child that was 12 years old, and they had definitely done various things. However, they were seeing drastic change once we did the work, and we were focusing on their confidence and their anxiety and those emotional issues. Because as I said before, when you are confident, it doesn't matter, you're feeling less anxious or you're feeling less fearful. You're going to approach any situation with a lot more resilience, as I said before, and feel so much more safer and more comfortable than to do it when you are crippled with anxiety in that fight flight response, not being able to think clearly.
Thank you for sharing these tips with us. Like, I believe, like, once, like, even us, with or without children, if we implement this in our lives and start to be more aware and conscious of emotions, our reactions and responses to different situations around us, it will truly change our life. Yeah,
Totally.
and Mm-hmm. And before we wrap up this call, share with us, like, if those interested to working with you, how can, what are you offering right now? How can they work with you?
So they can connect to me here on Instagram, DM me, jump on a discovery call. I offer a few different things, and I can just discuss with them what's going to be, the best that works for them. I do, support with parents. I do support with all different people. So if you're thinking, well, I do have anxiety, I do have some beliefs, I do have patterns that I have some issues with, and I try to work on supporting them and doing everything, but they're not going away. And maybe you're ready to try subconscious work because it is life-changing. We can speak about it and see what's right for you.
Yeah, if you resonate with what we have just shared, go give Carly a follow. And thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for, this conversation. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, such a pleasure. It's been so nice connecting with you. You're such a beautiful, bubbly human. And yeah, I love that. Like, I don't know too much about the Gene Keys. They're a bit more complicated, but I love what, like, the snippets you've been sharing with me.
Yeah, welcome. And yeah, I'm here to keep things simple. And, like, I love that we are both doing this work to empower people, to empower, really, like I said at the beginning, creating a world where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just so much more empowering for our children. So, yeah, I'm proud of us doing this work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, have an amazing day.
Amazing. Yeah, you have. I've got a bit. It's coming to evening now, but have an amazing day.
Same.
Amazing Arvo.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.